Hi, how you doing? You're watching Sonic Eclectic Vision. I'm Seven, and today we have TL Cross. How you doing, sir?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. I'm doing very, very good. Thanks for having me here, man.
It's a pleasure, a pleasure. So I was introduced to you about what, like a month ago? You had an event.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Cool. Now now. Would you say R&B singer? How would you classify yourself?
Um, I would say yes. I classify myself based on what people hear. I definitely have R&B influences. I have gospel influences as well as jazz and blues. I just I just try to make music, but I'm not offended by any label or box or anything like
Mm,
that. I'm fine with it all.
okay. So let's move back to move forward. So you were
Okay.
raised in the church.
Yes, sir.
And how'd you go from being raised in the church, having the influence
hmm
of dad playing for the
hmm
church, into
hmm
R&B singer?
Um, you know, my theory is it simplifies it for me. It's that if you say I love God or I love the Lord and you put some music to it, a lot of people consider it gospel. If you turn in that same pew to the woman or your significant other and say I love you and put some music to it, people consider it secular. So for me, the music part of it doesn't change. It's just I just love music, and my dad's favorite singer of all time is Donny Hathaway. So at I was in church, but I
Mm-hmm.
grew up listening to Donny. I grew up listening to Stevie Wonder and anything that my parents loved. I grew up listening to all of that stuff, and then I grew up in Hollis, Queens, which is like very heavily hip hop, influenced. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's just music. I just love music, and I just put it all in the pot, and it's all a part of my experience. You know.
It's interesting because gospel music definitely has changed over the last 10 to 15 years,
Yeah.
where gospel had a sound. Uh,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
was this is what it was.
Right.
And yeah, now gospel sounds like pop records. Just sounds like straight up R&B hip hop
Yeah.
records.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because once upon a time, it seemed like it was the other way around. Once upon when you go back,
Mm-hmm.
in musical history, you'll hear a lot of what was going on in popular music in gospel first.
Right.
And then it would, manifest itself in, maybe in Motown or even prior to that, doo-wop music, or even after that, even into the 80s and 90s. But, I mean, yeah, even into the era of R. Kelly and Jodeci and Faith Evans, like you can hear the Clark sisters and commissions and, the Winans and stuff like that prior to what a lot of the R&B artists were doing. Today, um, what I to me, well, my theory on that is I've noticed that labels have changed. Once upon a time in the label, you had the black music division, or you had a division of a guy that was his thing, hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This was his thing, dance, this was his thing, R&B, gospel. Today we have some of the same labels, and a lot of times it'll be some of the same A&Rs. It was the same people. They're like kind of using the same producers and writers for one artist as they are for the other artists, even though those artists are in totally different genres or whatever. So it's like a lot of them are going for the same audience, and
Now,
you know,
speaking of which, before you ruin your checks, it
huh?
seems that you're one of those gentlemen that they're running to
Mhm.
write the same songs to
You know
everybody.
what? You know what? And it's interesting that you say that because the gospel artists that I work with,
Mm,
um, that well, as far as mainstream gospel artists, I've only worked with one mainstream gospel artist, and that would be Yolanda Adams. And I was very uh, proud of working with Yolanda Adams because I found her to just be an amazing woman, and I met her husband and child, and they were just a great family.
mm,
And but I worked with her through Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Right.
That's how we worked. Like we were in Minneapolis working with Jam and Lewis, and I was assigned to them as an artist, doing writing and production with them. And they had Yolanda in the studio, and I got a chance to get on the project. And it's funny. So I was working with a gospel artist, but through Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who are people who are God-fearing men, but they're known to be R&B pop producers and stuff, and that's how I ended up working with a gospel artist. It was through the, it was through
And don't forget the work they did with Sound of Blackness.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? And that's the
Great
thing that I
work.
think that's amazing. Yes, and they had with them my man Big Jim, who was originally in Sounds of Blackness, and went on to do more work with them, including like Open Up My Heart, with Yolanda Adams. They have a great deal. When you talk to Jam and Lewis, their respect for the history of gospel music
Hmm.
is they have just such a great deal of respect for it, and that's why they just have so much respect for my dad. And they ask me, "What did your dad think? What did your dad think about this?" And stuff like that. So it was, I learned a lot working with those guys. I'm sure we'll get back to them. Yeah.
That's cool. Now, how did you meet them? How did that connection come about?
Um, you know what? I have a long standing relationship with an R&B singer by the name of Case. And at one point, Case had a song, I believe with he, Tyrese, Genuine, um, and somebody else. But it was a song, The Best Man. And
Okay.
that was, like, years ago. And I ended up going on the road. Case was one of the singers that I ended up going on the road with singing background for. And, I think it was probably like in 2000 or whatever. And I went out there and I was singing with him. And one day, he just had like a CD and he was just playing music he just was bumping the music that I was doing. And he was around Jam and Lewis working with them. And Terry was like, "Who is that?" He said, "Yo, that's my man, or whatever." He said, "Yo, like, let me hear some more." And like, they just ended up, between Case and a guy by the name of JoJo Brim, they just ended up playing a lot of music for them. And it was like, "They want to set up a meeting for you guys to meet." Because they just like what they had heard. And I had previously been a part of a record that ended up being a hit, which was Get It On Tonight by Montel Jordan, which I co-wrote with a good friend of mine. And that was out at that time. So it was perfect timing, because we had like the #1 record or something like that, so it worked out.
All right, well, I'm gonna play a little taste
Okay.
so people can get an idea of what we're talking. We could continue to talk. I'm gonna play that underneath.
Okay.
You like the finer things, yeah, you love it. Oh, just like an oven. Oh, they say you're hotter than July. You used to be the life of the party, but now you're broken hearted. And I just came around to wake you up. All that you need is someone to know you. Need to be treated like somebody loves you. And I don't wanna see you looking down. I can change your world. I just have one question. Do you believe in miracles? We could change the world, but only if you try to believe in miracles. It's like that.
Do you believe in miracles? What inspired that song?
You know, um, I've never been asked that before, but
Hey, that's what we do.
let me recall that experience. I gotta go back.
Take a
and
breath.
Yeah, tap into my mental Rolodex. I think the first thing that came to me when it came to that song was the music and the melody. I think that producing the music, doing the track itself, and also doing that chording I kind of started like some of my songs are born this way. I kind of started humming along, singing along, and trying to go with go in the direction that the music was kind of guiding me. And that question is literally what kept coming to me. Do you believe in miracles? You
Right.
know, and then I had to ask myself, what does that mean to me? You know, what's the bigger picture? You know, in that question, and how can it pertain to an actual work? You know, and I thought about it. I toyed around with a couple of phrases and a couple of things that I felt, and little by little, I pieced together what do you believe in miracles mean to me. And it's just simply just something that's just not probable, that may not seem probable to you or may not seem probable to me or the person, that we may be talking about. But ultimately, anything is possible, because I do believe in miracles. That's kind of like my vibe.
Gotcha. Well, let's fast forward in time. So now you're working with a bunch of artists actually right now.
Mhm.
So which label are you connected with?
Well, right now, I think if I said what label am I connected with, well, specifically from the writing and production standpoint, I would mostly say at this point I would go with Atlantic because one of my partners, I have two partners, one guy by the name of Brian Palmer, which we call Bezo, and we go back forever and ever and ever. And then our other partner is my man Needles, who just, Needles' track record really speaks for itself. One of the records that people might know him by is Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. But he's my other, matter of fact, I have a video called Audience that was shot in his house. And he's the guy like on the, if you look at the video, he's the guy playing the drum machine or whatever. but basically he's my other partner. Needles has, a song deal with Atlantic, and Bruno is with Atlantic. So a lot of the stuff that we've been doing have been funneled, through that demand, that Needles really have created over time. And me and Bezo, we've been working on various things, and we all kind of come together. But Atlantic, I got a connection over there. Bezo has a connection over there. Needles has like a great connection over there. So it's one of those things. If I had to pinpoint one, but we're working with a lot of different people on different labels, Hollywood Records, quite a few different labels with different artists.
All right, so let's check out because you're a big ham. You love being in front of the camera. In fact, when we met, you were showing this black and white type of film that you're really proud of. So you're a ham.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And it's funny. You know what's funny? It's funny you say that because I grew up. I'm the youngest, and my big brother, who is actually going to sing with me at the next Bridge to Cross. My big brother, he was always known as the ham. Like I was always the one who didn't want to. I was nervous. I'd be nervous. Like he wouldn't be nervous. Like if there was cameras around and we was in front of an audience, he was fine with that. Me, I was always just really nervous about it. But I think that I used to be in a group. I was in a group called La Day, then I ultimately ended up in a group called Morrison Slick. And when I went solo or whatever, which was not really like me.
And I remember that group, by the way, La Day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I know some things. Little bit of things.
Yeah. No doubt. Listen, I was singing with La Day, man, and I was singing, I was the lead singer there. But ultimately, when it came time for me to do my solo thing, I just realized that I had to come out of a comfort zone and I have to get in front of the camera. I was that dude that at Christmas, when the family, my dad loves to record family moments, and the next, we'll all be playing cards until playing. And the next thing my dad has to just stay right there, keep doing that, and he's that guy. And I'd be the one that as soon as the camera come on, it's like, oh God, here we go. You know what I'm saying? I would be that dude. But I noticed that in today's industry, with the internet and all that stuff, I had to get out of my comfort zone, and I had to get comfortable speaking for
Well,
myself.
beyond comfort
Get out there.
zone, the rumors have it, okay,
Mhm.
that that you wanna not only get some Grammys, you wanna get an Oscar. So that doesn't sound like a shy guy.
Yeah,
Is that
you know,
true?
you know what? Look.
Is that true?
Well, no, I absolutely do want
See
to
what
get an
happened was.
But no. I do want to get an Oscar, but check it.
Right.
I want to get an Oscar in a way that Stevie Wonder has an Oscar and that Prince has an Oscar.
Okay.
Stevie has it for I Just Called. Prince
Okay.
has it for the Purple Rain soundtrack. I want to get. I don't ever see myself being Denzel Washington and getting that Oscar that way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I do want an Oscar, but I want it on the music.
And you did beat Prince, didn't you?
I did. You
Yeah.
know what? But that's the Jam and Lewis connection, man. That's the Jam and Lewis connection. Because we were just chilling in the studio, and Terry was like, yo, we were literally in the middle of a tape. And Terry said, yo, I want to go to Prince's house? We was like, yeah. So we literally got in the car, and we said, wait, let's go back to the house. So we wanted to change. We wanted to put something else on. We was like in studio again. We had went to the gym earlier that day. So it was like let's put something on presentable,
Right.
so we could look like artists. So we went to Prince's house, and it was.
Wait. What does one put on to say I'm going to look like an artist? Hold up. To hang out at just listen to what you said. Really, what can you possibly wear?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's funny because I went in the closet. I know I ain't have no blouses or nothing, so I just had to go.
Boo.
I had to go with something, something real modest,
Right.
as it compares to Prince. But, I just went and I decided to be myself, man. I decided to go there, and I didn't know what to expect. Really, I didn't know, like, we get there, he's gonna drop down from the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know exactly what was gonna happen.
Right,
but
right.
I was like, well, I'm not the first or the last person that's gonna meet Prince, so.
Right.
Everybody else survived it, you know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
just go ahead and be myself.
I met a couple that have not survived it. But that's another story.
Oh, see, that's
See.
a whole nother thing.
That's
you know
a
what
whole
I'm
nother
saying?
thing.
So, but I figured,
But it was good though.
Yeah.
Overall, it was good.
okay.
Was
Okay.
it? Was it?
No, it was great, man.
Okay,
it was
okay.
great. We got there and there's this room that he had, and they were having a jam session in there. And it was just a who's who that was just in there jamming with him. You know what I'm saying? It was just a bunch of different people. And I was amazed by it, and I sat there and I watched him watching them and enjoying the music. And he was just chilling, man. He was just chilling. And then at some point, he went on stage and started playing with them. And I thought it was amazing because he had so many options. As he went up to the stage, I was wondering, what is he going to do? Like, is he going to sing? Is he going to play the piano? Is he going to play the guitar? Is he going to play the bass? Is he going to play the drums? Is he going to dance? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea. Like, he has so many options, and you could just tell just in his body language when he came up there, it was kind of like, what do I feel like playing today? And he played the piano, and he was so aggressive when it came to his piano playing until I was like, wow, because I know him as an aggressive guitar player, and I've seen him play other instruments, but I've never seen him play the piano in a not so controlled environment where everything was just, it was a jam session, and wherever he could go wherever he wanted to go, and I thought that was amazing.
Well, let me play this music video that you did, and I think it's pretty amazing in its own right. So let's check that out.
Okay.
This joint goes out to all the block parties, and the house parties, and the trucks, and the Jeeps, and the Coupes, and the Lexus. This goes out to the projects, suburbs, East Coast, West Coast. But you can play this in your headphones. don't speak, you don't even nod. So I just act like you're someone I don't know, stranger in the night. So I'll pass you by and act like I don't. And so I speak to you at night. That's when you tell me once again how much you love when we pretend. But then I wish that you were. We acting hard like it's a play, but there's no award for the role I play. I'm your best kept secret. Nobody knows what's going on when we're
All right, so best kept secret. Anything for your fans that they might know as far as what inspired that song?
Best kept secret. You know what? I'll tell you what. I was there was a song that we did called "Never Be the Same Again" like years ago, by Ghostface and Carl Thomas, and it had a two-step vibe. And Ghost was about to do a new project, and one of the A&Rs wanted him to try to recapture that vibe. And so me and Bezo got together along with Cap PLX and did the beat, the best kept secret, and I played and all that stuff. And then what we ended up doing was one day I was just riding down Atlantic Avenue, and I don't know if I was in Queens or in Brooklyn at the time, but I was riding Atlantic, and they were talking about Luther Vandross, and Luther, they were doing a tribute to him, and he had a song called "Your Secret Love," or something like that. And he painted a picture about, this relationship that people didn't know about. And I heard that, and for some reason I thought of the phrase "best kept secret," and I was like, that actually could be a pretty cool song. And then it just so happened that I threw the track in, and I was listening to it, and I just started singing that phrase to it. And then I said, you know what, this could be hot, because I think a lot of people can relate to, that guy that's in a relationship with that girl that people may not know about, or even if it's not like creeping type stuff, it could even be a situation where y'all are not ready to go public with it yet. So y'all may be in the lounge or in the spot or whatever the case may be, and you're like, oh, this is my friend, this is my homegirl, you know what I'm saying? And then, so it's kind of like that thing, and I think that people can relate to it. So I just decided to go all out, with the concept of it, and just really go with it, and that's kind of how that came about.
I have one more question. Actually, two more questions. But now that you're making that transition between that guy making everybody else hits and now doing, coming out as a solo artist yourself, and I've never asked anybody this before. The bandwagon, people kind of like, oh, well, his resume is blah, 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 so now I'm gonna latch on and be his friend and come to his events and, be really close. How do you put up the gates on that? Or do you say you don't even worry about it at all? Because you must feel it.
No, you know what? I tell you what. It is funny you say that, because I just had a conversation with my good friend Eshawn. Shout out to Eshawn and Drago Moore, who created Bridge to Cross, together with myself and stuff. But we just had this conversation, and I said, you know what? I said there's two types of people who support you as an artist. There is the real base, the base for the artist. I'm talking about the person that, I don't care if your record is just you taking this pen and this right here and banging it together. They like, yo, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I see what he's doing. Those are the people, they with you. No matter what you do, like they're with you on it. You know what I'm saying? They're part of your base. So if your album sells 1 million records, or if it sells 5,000 records, these are the people that are unmoved by sales, because that's not what it's about. What it's about for them is the actual product or whatever. That's your. So I always say, play to your base. Play to your base, because
Gotcha.
they got you. You know what I'm saying? Now, then there are those who the way that they follow music based on what is popular. So if something is popular, they, you know, the same people, they probably, the stuff that they wear is probably the same way. You know, if that's that's hot now. You know what I'm saying? I need to get me one of those. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is, and I get that. Perspective is everything. So it takes all kinds. You know, so when a person approaches you, you kind of feel in your heart, you know what?
If they're just trying to get on themselves as artists, or if they really dig with what you're doing.
Right.
That's cool.
Right. You get that vibe, and it's like, okay, but perspective is everything. And listen, man, I love and respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you know what? I see you with your audience, regardless of the energy, whatever like that. I could definitely tell you really appreciate everyone that comes out and supports. I can see that that's very, very genuine. You know, it's not like I'm the prima donna, come watch me do my thing. You're like, no, thank you for coming, and you can see that. And it's,
you know what?
It's important too.
Let me say something about that. I always felt that if a person has a musical gift, that, and I was just raised this way, you're supposed to be thankful. Like, you're supposed to be grateful for that, because, you know, people, like, we hone our craft, but at the same time, there is an embedded gift that a musical person has that they need to not be arrogant about. They need to be thankful, because there are people in the world that would kill to have a musical gift, but they have the love for music, but they would kill to have the musical gift. So you should actually be. It's almost like walking. It's like you should be grateful to have legs to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't create your own. You know, you didn't create yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you should be thankful, because there's a lot of people that's in a wheelchair that is looking at you walk and just say, "Wow, man, I wish that I could do that." So my thing is, and then the other thing is, I could wake up tomorrow and not be able to do what I'm doing. Like, who knows? With you know, God forbid. You know, but we don't. You know, tomorrow's not promised. You know what I'm saying? So I am totally grateful for each and every person that takes the time out to listen to the music. And I love being inspired by music, and I love to help to inspire people and put people in a positive place in their life.
I could, you know what? So much I want to say, but you said it all. You said it all.
All right.
And you explained, you basically explained my hate. So now anytime that when I say anything on the Eclectic Show, like we have like a gossip segment, I'm gonna play that piece what you just said, because it's I don't think it's hate. I think it's love. I agree with you 100%. You have such a gift that you should put out better stuff. You know, I don't have to name any artists, but you know when you put out trash.
Oh yeah. No, listen. I totally agree. It's interesting you say that, because sometimes there are artists that I call artists that I support in theory. You know, like, I support them in theory, because it's like I support the concept of what they represent.
Right.
But it's like I can't rock with that though. You know what I'm saying? That I can't rock with, but I do support the idea of what they represent or what they're supposed to represent. And I'm like, and I will, I will go to battle for artists, you know, but I can't say if they do a record or if they do an album or whatever the case is that I'm like, you know, I'm not going to support that per se.
Right.
But I remember one time, I was literally like 14. I was like 14 years old. I was riding a car with, believe it or not, Al B. Shore. And we riding the car, and because my group La Day, we were signed to Al. We were signed to Al B. Shore in his situation. So we riding the car, and there was a dude that came on the radio, Chucky Booker. And he said,
"Oh wow."
Yeah, he said, yo, Chucky Booker is dope. he said Chucky Booker is an amazing musician. He was like, Chucky's like phenomenal. People don't understand. He's dope. And right when he said that, like Chucky like did something on the record that was kind of weird. He was like, except that right there, though. You know, he was like, he's dope though. But I mean, I felt him because it's like this, that doesn't negate that he's dope. That right there, I can't co-sign. You know what I'm saying? But like that's how I feel about a lot of these artists. You know, to piggyback off of what you were saying about putting out material, because the platform that some of these artists have is so powerful, and there's so many people that really want good music, but they want something. People want to be a part of something special. Like people want to be able to say that they were. I remember when Michael Jackson was doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember when people want to be a part of something special. So people are quick to rally around something that seems like it's kind of like, wait a minute, that might be the special thing that we've been looking for. That we want to, I'm a little more reserved about that.
Well, hold that. Because I definitely would love to talk to you just on the not only creative sense, but about artists and just the direction where this conversation is going. Because I don't want to run out of time. Just as far as rocking with artists, and I think we spoke that night about the changing of the guard as far as R&B. So, but let's leave it at that. And we'll definitely would love to have you again. Thank you so much, TL Cross.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Absolutely.
Awesome. Sonic Eclectic Vision. Yes, TL Cross. Check him out. You have a website that people could check out?
Yes. You know what? For now, well, you can go on www. Is this live?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Or is this live?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So, I didn't realize we were live. Okay, so check it. It's tlcross.com. But right now, it is December, 23rd?
Yeah.
tlcross.com will be available on January 1st, 2014.
Awesome. You heard it here first, folks. All right, thanks a lot. And you're watching Sonic Eclectic Vision.